If you're over 50 and you deposit a large check, move savings between banks, send money to a family member, receive an inheritance, or wire money after selling something you owned, your bank may ask questions that feel much bigger than the transaction itself. Where did this money come from? Who's it going to? Why are you moving it today? Can I see your ID? Is anyone helping you with this? Do you have anything that shows where it came from? For a moment, a normal trip to the bank can feel like an interview you did not sign up for. A bank question is usually not an accusation. Most of the time, it is a request for one thing: a clearer explanation of the money. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact 6 things a bank may be trying to understand so that the next time you move money, you already have the answer ready, and that whole nervous feeling just goes away. No fear. No secret IRS number. Just a simple system to make your money easy to explain. Quick, honest ground rules first. I am not an advisor, an agent, or an attorney. This is educational, not personalized financial, tax, legal, or banking advice. Your exact situation can change everything. So, for a big or unusual move, talk to a qualified professional you trust. And this is not a video about hiding money, not avoiding reports, and absolutely not breaking a large amount into smaller pieces so it looks less noticeable. Splitting money up to slip under a number is one of the few things that can turn a perfectly legal transaction into a real problem. It is a bad instinct, and it is the one a lot of those fear videos accidentally push people toward. So, we are doing the opposite. The whole idea of this video is one line: make your money easy to explain. When the money is easy to explain, a bank question stops being scary. It just becomes a question you can answer. Here is the system. 6 words. Keep them in your head for the rest of this video. Identity, pattern, source, purpose, destination, records. Almost every question a bank may ask comes back to one of those 6. Identity. Who is moving the money? Pattern. Does this fit how the account normally behaves? Source. Where did it come from? Purpose. Why is it moving? Destination. Where is it going? And records. What proof explains it later? Without depending on your memory. You do not need to learn banking law. You just need to be ready to answer those 6 small questions about your own money. Let us walk through them the way they actually show up at the counter. A lot of you have asked a very fair question. Why do I have to show ID just to put money in? It is my account. Here is the calm answer. Before a bank can make sense of a money move, it may first need to know who is moving it and whether that person is allowed to. For most of us, that is simple. You own the account, end of story. But money in retirement often involves more than one person. A joint account holder, an authorized signer, someone with power of attorney, an adult child helping a parent, a caregiver who handles the day-to-day money. And this answers another question several of you asked. What if I am depositing money for a family member or a friend? That is exactly the kind of thing a bank may pause on. Not because helping is wrong, but because the account is trying to understand whose money this is and who is allowed to touch it. Picture a daughter who starts helping her father with his banking after his eyesight gets worse. A kind, loving thing. But the first time she moves a larger amount, the account only knows her father's name, and she does not have the paperwork that shows she's allowed to act for him. A 5-minute errand becomes a frustrating afternoon, and she leaves feeling like she was treated as a suspect. She was not. The account simply could not yet see who she was. And yes, this is true at a credit union too. Different building, same idea. The clean fix is the same everywhere. Before a larger move, have your ID ready. Know exactly whose account it is, and if you are helping someone, bring the document that proves you are allowed to. When the question, who can move this money, already has an answer, that conversation takes 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes. This is the bucket those scary videos love. So let us take the fear out of it and answer the question you actually asked. Several of you asked, basically, Does this apply to a check or only to cash? Is a check under $250,000 treated like a giant cash deposit? Here is the plain version. Cash is the one that is different. Financial institutions have reporting obligations for certain cash transactions, and according to FinCEN, that includes cash transactions above $10,000. That rule comes from the Bank Secrecy Act, and it applies to banks and credit unions alike. But notice the word cash. A check, an electronic transfer, a card payment, and a wire all create their own record automatically. They carry their own trail. Cash is simply the one that asks you to bring the trail with you. And here's the part the fear videos skip. A report is not an accusation. These reports are filed all day long for ordinary people for completely legal reasons. It is routine. So, the rule is short. Deposit or withdraw normally. Do not split cash to stay under a number. Be ready to say where it came from and what it is for, and keep your receipts. Normal, documented, explainable. That is all anyone is hoping to see. Now the one that surprises people because it is not about the amount at all. Sometimes the question is not, is this a lot of money? It is this normal for this account? For years, the account does the same quiet things. Small deposits, a few bills, steady and predictable. Then one day it is very different. A sudden large withdrawal, a first-time wire, a brand new account on the other end, repeated urgent transfers, a new payee, a large cash move after years of small ones. Any one of those, alone, can be completely innocent. People sell homes. People help family. People finally move savings somewhere better. But when the pattern changes fast, the move stands out, and standing out may invite a question. Picture a man who has used the same account for 20 years, small and steady. Then in 1 week, he wires money to a company he has never paid, opens a link to a new outside account, and asks about taking out a large amount of cash. Each step might have a perfectly good reason, but to an account that has been quiet for 20 years, that week is loud. The bank is not accusing him. It is noticing a change, the way a good friend would notice if your whole routine flipped overnight. The fix is almost too simple. Before an unusual move, write yourself one short note: the amount, the purpose, the destination. And who asked for it if anyone did? That last part matters more than it sounds, and you will see why in a few minutes. Now the big one. Large money. Large amounts are not the problem. People come into them for normal, happy, and sometimes painful reasons all the time. The difference between a smooth move and a stressful one is whether the source is documented before the money lands. Think of the everyday ways a retiree ends up with a large sum. Selling a home, an inheritance, selling a car, an insurance payout, a pension lump sum, a Social Security back payment, family finally paying you back, a little business or consulting income. Everyone is explainable. The mistake is letting the money arrive first and trying to remember the story months later. Picture someone who just sold their home. The biggest deposit of their life lands in a checking account that has never held anything close to it. A few weeks later, they want to move most of it somewhere safer. Completely reasonable. But the proof of where it came from is back at the closing table, in a stack of papers they have not opened since. The money's clean. The explanation just is not in reach. So close that gap on purpose. Build a source packet, a small folder, paper or digital, with 4 things: a copy of the check or transfer confirmation, the document behind it, a settlement statement, a bill of sale, an executor's letter, or a note from whoever paid you. The deposit receipt, and 1 sentence in your own words explaining where it came from. That packet turns "where did this come from" a memory test into an answer you can hand over. A bank may not only ask where the money came from, it may also ask where it is going and why. This is where one of your most common questions lives. Several of you asked, what about wiring the money from a home sale to someone else? Does that get treated differently? Here is the calm answer. A wire is a normal, traceable way to move money. But because money has two ends, the bank may want both halves of the story. Not just where the home sale money came from, but where it is now going and to whom. The moves that tend to raise the "where is this going?" question. A wire to a new person, helping family, paying a contractor, a medical bill, a home repair, money headed to an investment platform. And the one I worry about most, money moved to a new account right after a scary phone call or message. So keep a destination note, just like the source packet. Who receives the money? Why? The invoice, bill, agreement, or family note behind it. And a confirmation once it is done. Think how different two people sound at the same desk. One says, "I just need to send this, please." The other says, "This is the money from my home sale. It is going to my daughter for her down payment. Here is the closing statement, and I will keep the wire confirmation." Same money, same transfer. But the second person turned a question into a non-event. They were not nervous because they had nothing to remember, nothing to defend. They simply had the answer. Now the part that changes how all of this feels. Sometimes a question that feels intrusive is not suspicion at all. It is protection. Banks are increasingly aware that older adults are targeted by scams and financial pressure, and regulators have specifically warned them to watch for it. The losses are not small. The Federal Trade Commission has reported that older adults lost billions of dollars to fraud in a single year. So when a bank slows down and asks one more question, it may be looking for signs that someone is being pressured, and those signs are worth knowing for yourself. Here is how it usually sounds. The phone rings. A calm, official-sounding voice says there is suspicious activity on your account, and to protect your money, you need to move it into a new, secure account today. They may already know your name. They tell you not to discuss it with anyone, because the investigation is confidential. Every part of that is built to make a careful person act fast and act alone. That is the opposite of what keeps your money safe. If you ever feel that pressure, your move is the same every time. Pause. Do not act on urgency. Verify independently. Call your bank using the official number on your card or statement, not a number someone gave you. And talk to one trusted person before you move money under pressure. Urgency is not proof. Urgency is a warning. A real institution will give you time. A scam will not. So sometimes, when the bank is the one slowing you down, that question is on your side. Let us lock it in. When you move money, run a quick 6-point check. Identity. Who is moving it, and do they have the authority? Pattern. Does this fit how the account normally behaves? Source. Where did it come from and can I prove it? Purpose. Why is it moving? Destination. Where is it going and to whom? Records. What document explains this later so it does not live only in my memory? That is the entire video on one card. You do not need to fear the bank. You just need to be ready to answer those 6 small questions about your own money. So here is where I will leave you. If your bank asks a question, do not panic and do not let a fear video talk you into a clever shortcut. Slow down and make the money easier to explain, not harder to find. Who is moving it? Where did it come from? Why is it moving? Where is it going? And what record proves it later? The safest money is not the money you hide. It is the money you can explain, calmly, with a document in your hand. That is the money desk way. Make your money easy to explain. In the next video, we will look at exactly what to do before you move money from a home sale, an inheritance, or another large one-time event, so the biggest deposit of your life does not become the most stressful one. I am Daniel Brooks. Take care of your money and take care of each other.